welcome back to the Cool Fears channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on the channel is 10 for adult collectors and not children. And welcome to episode 66 of Coffee and Toys, guys. As you can see, we are hard at work at adding that next DTOF to the wall of DTOFs right here. But we'll talk about that a bit. We'll also talk about this week's toy haul, this week's toy news, and so much more. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. If you do enjoy this video or any other videos that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. With all that being said, guys, once again, welcome to episode 66 of Coffee and Toys, guys. And real quick, I just want to shout out and thank channel sponsor Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate link down in the description below to check out all sorts of cool figures as well as help support the channel. Yes, as you can see, we are hard at work at adding in that next DTOF, the final DTOF, in fact. After planning out everything and looking at everything, thankfully, with the addition of this DTOF, I will have 3 open slots. So 3 open cubes that will allow me to add on to my collection whenever that time does come. Now, I may want to move around some figures in order to fill those cubes for the time being, but those cubes will be open for expansion of the collection, those 3. Now, one of them is already somewhat being thought of, while the other 2 are completely free, but that's going to have to wait until I've completed the other ones in my collection. There's a real easy one to complete here. And I really was going to get another quarter scale this past week to add and almost complete my collection. However, I decided to go ahead and pre-order a head sculpt as well as pre-order a 1/6 scale figure, and also order a 1/6 scale figure as well as another 1/6 scale head in order to help complete this collection right here. You know, I feel like quarter scales really aren't that popular at the moment, only because of the size and the money they take to acquire. Thankfully, I was able to get a phenomenal deal on this guy once again. Now, not $5 phenomenal, unfortunately, but still really good considering what this guy is going for anywhere else. So yeah, I decided not to get another quarter scale, but instead, like I said, get a 1/6 figure, pre-order a 1/6 scale head, and order a 1/6 scale head. When all of that arrives, we will definitely talk about it. Well, except for the pre-ordered 1/6 scale figure. I pre-ordered the Mars Toys Jim Carrey Riddler, of course. I mean, Batman Forever is one of my all-time favorite Batman movies. I don't even hate to admit it, guys. That it just is. It's one of my favorite all-time Batman movies of all time. It's the one I grew up watching the most. And so yeah, Val Kilmer as Batman in the sonar suit right here. Of course he needs Jim Carrey, and Mars Toys will also be doing Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, which I will also be pre-ordering once that's available for pre-order. So yeah, that's going to be one of the cubes. Well, kind of, sort of, because it's going to stay in this one right here, just shift it over to here. But it's going to be Nightmare Batman, Superman, Batman Forever in the front, and then the Batman is actually getting its own separate cube, so that will be its own separate thing here. But yeah, a lot of great plans for things to come. But like I said, I did pick up 2 separate DTOFs. So here's one, and I really didn't take away too much more space from over here like I thought I was going to, because I took stuff away from back here. So I used to have a small table back here where I had my Boba Fett helmet, the jetpack, and some Boba Fett and Jango Fett figures and whatnot. That had to go in order to make space for the 4th DTOF. That corner of my TV was already blocked off by the 3 DTOFs in my room, even with them sitting so far back. So I figured, what the fuck? Why the fuck not? I don't really watch TV in here anyways too much. Although I do game in here I say game in here, although it's been years since I've actually gamed. But if I decide to game, like Call of Duty, it's going to be very hard for me to see the mini-map and everything. But I don't really watch TV in here too often, unless it's really just in the background and it's stuff that I've seen before. We have another TV in our family room that I tend to watch more, and so, you know, it doesn't really bug me not to be able to see this corner over here of my TV. I've seen it for plenty of other years. I enjoy having this collection right here. It's stuff that I never thought in a million years that I would have. So it's super awesome to see this prominently in my room. But like I said, I did get two different detolfs. So the first one being right here. The second one, unfortunately, you cannot see because it is right behind the camera. However, all right, guys, cutting into the show real quick, I just wanted to show you guys my detolf behind the camera really quick. So down here, we have one of my favorite displays in my room, and it is the quarter scale NECA baby turtles. They just look absolutely phenomenal, and in my opinion, kind of life size. I mean, don't you think? Isn't this the size that baby turtles would actually be? We have the radioactive ooze and all the other extra fun accessories in there as well. Now, right above it, we do have our Mezco Rumble Society right here. So many great characters and figures that they demanded their own cube right here. Now, right above them, we do have my 1/12 scale soft goods collection. Now, I say it like that because we do also have some non-Mezco figures in here, like the Felix Toys, Heath Ledger's Joker, the Soap Studios, Bang Robert Joker, as well as, a third-party Deathstroke, a third-party Mask figure, a Thousand Toys Halo figure, but so many great Mezcos as well. So we do have this superhero 1/12 soft goods section right here, and right above it, we do have my Beast Kingdom Batman collection. So we have some Zack Snyderverse figures, we have some comic figures, we also, of course, have some Nolanverse figures right here. We do also have Batman 89 and Joker 89 on the way. Currently, Batman 89 is being used in a photo, and Joker 89 has not yet arrived on my doorstep, but it actually should be arriving later today. Now, on top of this detolf, I do have my 1/12 Snyderverse Batmobile right here. Super cool and awesome. So yeah, guys, with that being said, back to the show. So that's the detolf behind the camera, guys. As you can see, it's already jam-packed full. Now, that Ninja Turtle 1/4 scale baby turtle display is there as a placeholder. It looks amazing there. I love it there. However, if I ever need to expand on space for, say, my Mezcos, my 1/12 scale figures, I definitely will pull them out and display them somewhere else. That's one of my favorite displays in my room, in my collection. However, if I do need the space, I will take them out. Now, the reason those figures are behind glass is because of the soft goods. Now, a lot of the figures that I have are hard plastic, like Hasbro figures, McFarlane toys. So I'm not too worried about them getting dusty and dirty. You can dust them off, wipe them off, be a little rough and stuff. But the stuff with soft goods, you got to be a little more gentle, kind of hopefully not get them dirty too much, so that way you don't have to clean them too harshly. And so putting them behind glass really helps minimize all that dust and dirt and debris, and it also helps protect them, being $95 to $200 figures at some points. You want those to be protected in case anything happens. If one of them falls over, you don't want them to fall 6-10 feet off the ground, plummeting and shattering and breaking upon impact. Obviously not everything gets to be put away and stuff, but the stuff that's important gets to. At one point I may even put my Ninja Turtle figures in that bottom display piece, only because they're not easy to come by, and once you find them, they're pretty expensive and whatnot. And as much as I love having them on my street scene diorama, I think I'd feel a lot better with them protected behind some glass. But we'll see. I'm still debating on that. So with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and talk about this week's toy haul. Like I said, it's another quarter scale from NECA. And like I said, I got a phenomenal deal on this guy. This guy is used, but brand new in the box. He's going from anywhere from like $300 to $400. And so that was pretty pricey, and although there was this one listing that was going for like 2 something, so it wasn't too bad, or 128 or something like that. I don't remember, but it was still in the hundreds, obviously. And so I was really like, ooh, ah. But upon looking on Facebook Marketplace, not even OfferUp this time, but Facebook Marketplace, I came across this listing for this guy for $80. And much like on OfferUp, guys, I don't pay full price on Facebook Marketplace. So obviously, I offered the guy $40. And he said he couldn't do it, so I was like, well, can you do $60? You're pretty far from me. He was actually about an hour's drive away from me, and I was like, fuck, that's 2 whole hours plus gas. I was like, come on, man, do it for $60. And he finally agreed to do it for $60, which was amazing. However, when we were in discussions, my dad happened to be about an hour down besides that. So I live in LA. He was kind of in the midpoint between LA and San Diego. My dad had gone to San Diego to visit his friend. And so on the way back, I thought, that'd be perfect. He could pick it up. Unfortunately, the guy was not available the day my dad was coming up, so I couldn't get that transaction. I couldn't get it that day. However, my dad went down to visit his friend again last weekend, and it just happened to work out that he was free and my dad was able to pick it up on his way up. And so I was able to get this guy for $60. Now, like I said, he was used. He had some red scuff on him, and I was able to kind of wash it off or clean it off with some I wouldn't say alcohol wipes, but they were kind of disinfectant wipes and stuff like that. And I was able to just kind of scrub a little hard, and the red scuff marks came off, which is really good. Now, the only other thing was his grapnel gun. The grapnel part did come broken. It's missing one of the prongs, so it's not really too big of a loss because I was going to display him like this with the Batarang. And when I do get the Arkham Knight Batman quarter scale from NECA, that one I can display with the grapnel gun in his hand while this one gets the Batarang. So this guy is honestly phenomenal. I love Arkham Origins. It's one of the more hated of the series. Now, come on, we've all played Arkham Knight. We all know that's the worst. But honestly, I don't really see what was the big deal behind this one. I mean, obviously it was a different company that created this one versus the other two. But in my opinion, it was a great prequel story nonetheless. And I absolutely love the Batsuit in that game. And so that's why having him in quarter scale is absolutely phenomenal. Now, he is next to my quarter scale Heath Ledger Joker. Now, they never released a Dark Knight Batman quarter scale, or at least I don't see any that are available for sale. Now, they did release a Batman Begins one, but obviously that's not the suit he was wearing up against a Joker. And so, and I honestly don't really like the way the figure looks. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick up this guy and the Arkham Knight one because I feel like the fact that they're based off cartoons and video games, it's a lot easier to capture that likeness because the Ben Affleck one looks a little wonky and so does the Christian Bale Batman Begins one. So I'm going to just pick up the Arkham Knight one and call it a day for my Batman quarter scale collections. But the cool thing is that they do include some cloth capes, some soft goods right here, so it doesn't hinder him standing or moving. Like if it was a hard shell or soft shell plastic, it'd be touching the ground, be kind of pushing him forward and whatnot. So it's really cool to see them add this little touch to it. It'd be really cool if it was wired, but it still drapes down really cool nonetheless. So yeah, this is a phenomenal addition to my collection, and I'm super happy to get it, and even happier for the price that I paid. So with that being said, guys, there's not too much to talk about in between anything else. We're waiting on, obviously the Flash movie and other movies. I did see Quantumania partially. I fell asleep. It wasn't because the movie was bad. I actually very much enjoyed what I saw in Quantumania. It's just the only available showing that wasn't sold out or had really shitty seats was at 10:50 at night. And I had already been up since 5 a.m. that day, or earlier actually, 4 a.m., because I had a client to train at 5 a.m. And so it was a long day. And so I made it up to the halfway point, and then I completely knocked out. But like I said, it wasn't because of the movie, so much so as it was just me and my day and being tired overall and it being super fucking late. I'm only 25 and I still can't stay up past, 11 o'clock without really struggling. And that's that I even had a coffee from Starbucks that day to help stay awake, and it did not help. But I really enjoyed it. A lot of people were saying, it's real sci-fi and stuff. But I mean, that's kind of what comic books do. They stay grounded, then they go sci-fi, then they get grounded, then it's a mixture of things. It's comics. It's not real life, and that's why I always say Christopher Nolan ruined Hollywood and cinema because he made such great grounded adaptations of Batman that all of a sudden everybody wanted the movies to be grounded. It's like, I used to go to the movies because they were elevated. They were something different than reality. They were stuff that couldn't happen in reality, to help me escape reality. And now it's like, oh, it has to be grounded. Well, that couldn't happen in real life. It's like, of course not. Of course that couldn't happen in real life. It's in the script, and nowadays it's just so grounded and stuff. That's why I think The Batman was such a great movie, because it was a great balance between grounded and also not being grounded. Like, when he got blown up, like, he should have been, burnt to shreds and, a really bad situation for Batman, but he didn't. He survived, he walked away like nothing and everything, so, like, it was grounded, but it also had those elements of not being grounded. So that's why I say Christopher Nolan's kind of destroyed cinema in that sense, but it wasn't his fault, and I thank him for making such great Batman films. And so yeah, Ant-Man was a great movie to me. It was funny, I kept joking like, oh, this is a great new Star Wars movie, or this is a great new Avatar movie, but it was still a fun time all around. I had no real issues with it. Although, like I said, I did fall asleep halfway through, and I did hear about that one scene about don't be a dick, and I kind of cringed when I saw it and stuff, but it is what it is. It was still an all-around great movie. I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10 out of movies in terms of everything. In terms of MCU, I would give it a solid 7 in terms of an MCU film, but in terms of just going to see a fun movie, I'd give it an 8. So let me know down in the comments below, have you seen Quantumania? What did you think? So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about this week's toy news. Alright guys, so with that being said, that is a wrap on Mezco's Mezco Fair for 2023. It's been an amazing 3 weeks with some pretty fun reveals and stuff, not stuff that I would necessarily be really into, besides a few things here and there, but still some great stuff nonetheless. So some final reveals for this last week of Mezco's MezCon, and that is first and foremost the 5 Points TMNT box set. Damn you, Mezco. How do you keep pulling me into these 5 Points? They are such phenomenal figures, and it's really weird because I never really was into figures that have limited articulation. However, these 5 Points just look absolutely phenomenal. I still want to get the Batman one, but I'm still holding off, but we'll see. But these look absolutely great, and I absolutely love them, and I'm going to be picking them up. Next up, in their 1/12 collective line, they announced the Shadow. This is technically somewhat Batman's influence. This is where the creators kind of got their idea and drew from in terms of Batman's personality and his darkness and kind of being in the shadows and everything. So that's really cool that Mezco's bringing back this hero for a newer generation, or at least a generation that grew up still really looking towards those older heroes and also the newer ones. And the last announcement that they did show off was a sneak peek look at another Wolverine. Much like Batman, Mezco has something for Wolverine. This time, it looks like it's going to be in the animated / Jim Lee style. So something cool to look forward to, but yes, another Wolverine. Now, I would not be saying this if it was another Batman, obviously, because I love Batman. Now, Wolverine's cool, don't get me wrong. I have 2 of the Mezco Wolverines, so don't get me wrong. I love Wolverine. He's a phenomenal character. One of my all-time favorite in Marvel. There's Spider-Man, there's Daredevil, there's Wolverine. It's those top 3 for me. And so, yeah, a great figure, but just, yeah, another Wolverine to wrap up MezCon 2023. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about some McFarlane Toys news, because much like Marvel Legends, Todd would probably die if he doesn't make an announcement every week. So this week we got the new Titans Build-A-Figure wave. And who are we building? We are building up to Beast Boy. Now, I do absolutely love the Teen Titans, but not in this way and in this lineup. I'm missing some people, mainly Starfire, Cyborg. Although we are getting a Cyborg, and we've already got an animated Cyborg, but these also aren't the animated versions of the Teen Titans. These are more new 52 versions of them and stuff. So yeah, just not my version of the Teen Titans. My version of the Teen Titans is from the animated series. So I'm not saying we had to get the animated characters, much like we got that animated Cyborg early on in the McFarlane line. I'm just saying, like, figures in that kind of look and vein, like a Robin. Well, I guess we kind of are getting that Robin anyways. And we are getting that Cyborg in the Flashpoint Build-A-Figure wave. Although that's not going to be quite the Cyborg that goes along. But it doesn't matter. It would work. And, getting Raven in more of a not so intricate costume, more of a scaled back costume. And obviously getting Starfire. And honestly, I would say give us a Beast Boy that's in regular form. as well as a Build-A-Figure Beast Boy that's in like mega form. To me, that would be the ideal Teen Titans wave. But Todd wanted to go this way, and that's totally fine. It's just not a way for me. I've actually even decided to kind of even pass on the Dark Knight wave. I've looked at it. I'm just like, do I really need these figures? Because me personally, as a toy photographer, when I go to shoot, I go to shoot the Mafex figures or the Mezco figures, I don't really go to shoot the McFarlane ones. And on top of that, if you're saying, well, at least you could have representation on your collection, I have that covered. I have a 1/12 scale Soap Studios Batman the Dark Knight figure. I have a Beast Kingdom Dark Knight figure in DAH form. That's representation enough for me in my collection that I don't feel like I need the new Batman McFarlane figure. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it or pick it up. I'm just saying I feel like I don't need it. But if I see it, I'm not made of stone, guys. So that wraps it up for McFarlane Toys news. Let's go ahead and talk some NECA, guys, because brace yourself. Haulathon is upon us once again, guys. Yes, start checking your local Targets because Haulathon is on. And much like Toyotathon, when it's gone, it's gone. So check it out for the latest 2-packs from TMNT. If you are in that line, may God help your soul. Or should I say, may God help your wallet. Because they dropped, I shit you not, like 6 or 8 cartoon 2-packs at Haulathon. Absolutely stupidity. That's just so stupid. I personally only wanted the Mirage Triceraton, and thankfully my friend Robert was able to pick it up for me, so that's covered for me. I may want to get one more if I can snag it, but we'll see. I'm going to be happy with one if I just get one, because at that $50 price point, 2 of them's $100, and $100 can go a long way somewhere else in a quarter scale or a 1/6 scale. I'm starting to edge out of 1/12 scale because I'm pretty content with my collection and what I have. Now, I'm not saying there aren't figures I wouldn't step back into 1/12 scale for, but I'm also saying there's also a lot of figures that I wouldn't step into it for also. Like I don't collect the cartoon turtles too heavily, so I'm not going to be getting any of the 2-packs. I'm not going to be even getting the accessory pack. Now, I am excited to say that NECA did announce that the Back to the Future accessory pack will be coming in sooner rather than later. So originally it was anticipated to be Q3 of this year. Now they're saying they're going to be starting to get him in soon, like within the next month or so. So super excited about that one. But I can definitely pass on the cartoon accessory set. And they tried to throw out a variant Ronin figure as well to kind of entice us and get us to buy it and buy. And it's a figure I can easily pass on. So I'm super happy about that. So if you are into the cartoon line, though, start checking your Targets because Haulathon is upon us. And like I said, like Toyotathon, when it's gone, it's gone. So real quick, the figures that are a part of this year's Haulathon are the Mirage Triceraton, the TMNT cartoon accessory set, Rex 1, Mighty Hog and Rhino Man, which is just a variant of Bebop and Rocksteady, Chaka something and Lotus, Dirk Savage and Mona Lisa, Tall Thug and Short Gangster, Grunt and Jersey Red. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-packs, guys. That is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, especially if you're into that line and everything else Ninja Turtles, the Mirage and everything. That's just because aside from all that, I forgot they also had the Archie comic stuff like the Beta Ray Fish or the Ray Fillet Beta Ray Fish, the Ray Fillet, also the Jungle Cat and the Panther, I believe. So those are all part of it. So if you're into Ninja Turtles, I think the banks are giving out loans right now, so yeah, but interest rates are kind of high. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the final bit of news. So like I said, if they don't give out some kind of new figure or reveal, tease, release, I feel like they would all die of not being able to do that. So let's go ahead and talk about Marvel Legends because they announced the goodest boy in the Galaxy wave, in all the universes wave, in fact, and that is the Build-A-Figure. I believe his name's Astro. So yeah, honestly, in my opinion, I don't need Star-Lord. I definitely don't need Adam Warlock. I mean, I'm not the biggest Guardians fan, I'll admit it. I definitely don't need Drax. I definitely don't need, how do you even pronounce this guy's name? Kraglin. Rocket is actually a really cool character and figure, so I may be tempted to keep him. But I don't need Nebula, and I definitely don't need a Mantis. So it's a real push and pull with me on this one because, like I said, I really want that Build-A-Figure dog because he's so fucking amazing, and dogs are awesome, but I don't really want the figures associated with the wave. That's just me. But they did also announce a mega figure group because I guess he goes all mega form in the movie. But yeah, so they announced all those. And right before I came on, they announced a brand new Power Man, aka Luke Cage. So with that being said, guys, that wraps it up for this week's toy news. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode. As always, guys, I really do appreciate you guys spending time with me whenever you guys do tend to check out this podcast. With that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out and thank you to the channel sponsor, Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate link down in the description below, so that way you guys can check out some really cool figures as well as help support the channel. With that being said, guys, I've been your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And as always, have a great fucking day. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at Cool Figures. And I do also have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by Cool Figures. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys like unboxings, check me out over on TikTok at Cool Figures. That's where I post all of my unboxings. And check me out every Sunday for Coffee and Toys, a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, weekly toy haul, and so much more. And join me every Wednesday over on Instagram for Coffee and Toys Live, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy hunting, toy photography, and so much more. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it.